Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Monday, July 31st, 2017 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I always have the option to show up in joy. It is my responsibility. And today we don't have too many transits going on, which is nice because we do have some energies going on in the background as we build into the eclipse, as we build into this Jupiter-Pluto square. But we do have a shift happening today. We have Venus shifting into Cancer today. And I'm not going to read it yet, but I'm going to show you. I got the Goddess of Love card from the 13 moon cards, and I was like, oh, how perfect. And I read through it, and I was like, wow, okay, we're going to read this. But Venus in Cancer, not too long of a transit going on. It's about a little bit under a month long. We will have Venus move into Leo as of August 25th. But through this transit, we dive back into the Cancer energies a little bit with Venus, the goddess of love herself. So Venus energy, astrologically speaking, is about ultimately, I believe, self-love. Because self-love is the necessary foundation, getting into Cancer energy, foundation, the home of all of the love that can flower from this lovely vase, this lovely vase, the lovely chalice, the lovely foundation. So this, to me, is a time where we can nurture that self-love vibration. Venus is also about pleasure, balance, harmony, self-worth. We've definitely been focusing on the self-worth aspect of Venus, Libra, Taurus energy that we've had some, strong energies working through. So through this transit, to me, the baseline of what I wrote down is like finding pleasure in nurturing yourself. Nurturing yourself is a foundational aspect in your self-love process. So that's finding the pleasure in nurturing yourself, to find the pleasure in the self-love energy, finding pleasure in that as your foundation, finding pleasure in taking care of yourself. It's an interesting thing. I say this all the time. My mom is a Cancer, and I've watched her my whole life, take care of us as kids and her husband, my dad. That's been her life, and taking care of herself has been so secondary that with my dad, when he passed, I moved up here because I was like, well, she's not going to know what to do with herself, and I'm going to have to teach her how to take care of herself. That's the thing. We shouldn't need our child at some point to teach us how to take care of ourselves. This is an option right now to practice this energy of self-love and find the pleasure in nurturing ourselves, in finding what it means to take care of ourselves, in finding what it means to bring pleasure through meeting our basic needs. So, can you find pleasure in making your dinner and then eating your dinner? Can you find pleasure in putting yourself to bed on time and waking up well rested without all the wrinkles under your eyes? Can you find pleasure in drinking water, getting out in nature, whatever it means to nurture yourself? Find the pleasure in that, and that will give you a super strong foundation. There's also an aspect of feelings with this. Cancer is a very feeling sign. I always say with Cancer that feelings are a superpower. So finding pleasure in moving through the feelings. I was listening to an Abraham right before this, and she was talking about, contrast. And contrast, contrasting experience, how it is such an important part of our experience because it helps bring our focus into what it is we do want. Contrast is part of the feelings. We feel the contrast. We feel like, oh, I don't really like this. I'm not that into that. Well, that's an important thing. So can you find the pleasure in, oh, I have just discovered what I do not like. So I can take that responsibility and redirect my attention, my feelings, all of that into something that does feel good for me. Now, what I do want to mention during Venus in Cancer is, to me, I think this might be a strong time of attachment energy, where you attach onto something that you find to be comfortable, whether it's truly comfortable, whether it's actually nurturing, or if, I was talking about that earlier with all the Cancer stuff earlier this year. Is it comforting or is it nurturing? That which is nurturing is always comforting. That which is comforting is not always nurturing. But you may get attached to these comfortable things and be like, but this is my pleasure, and these things aren't necessarily actually nurturing for you. That's where that element of self-love comes in, and letting that be your foundation. And let me say, nobody can tell you if it truly is nurturing for you or not. For some, chocolate may be very nurturing for you. For others, it may be a comfort thing, but it's not that good for you because when you find you have it, you get jittery or something like that. You know, so it's really up for you to know this about yourself and then make the choices that nurture you, that care for you. So, we have one other aspect going on today. We have the moon in Scorpio connecting with Pluto. This is a strong energy. And I love this because we have the sun today at 8 degrees through most of the day, shifting to a 9 late in the evening. And then we have the moon connecting to Pluto at 17 degrees, which is an 8 energy. That 8 energy is Saturn. That 8 energy is showing up. That 8 energy is responsibility. So the moon in Scorpio connecting to Pluto is giving us a little extra power in showing up for ourselves. Strong intuitive energy going on as Venus moving into Cancer is also going to be heightening that intuition as we align with and attune to our feelings. And I believe that our intuition does grow and bloom as we take care of ourselves. I believe we all have the ability to be tuned in, tapped in, turned on. We're all connected. We're all from source. So we can all tune in, but it's going to be through nurturing ourselves that we can make our body, I have it right here, make our body receptive to the energies, to feel them in and through. So I believe that connection will be supportive. That connection with the moon, Pluto, it is a sextile, but moon and Scorpio connecting to Pluto can also be an intense energy, even though it is a supportive connection. So it'll pass fairly quickly, but show up. Show up for these feelings. Let that be your kind of like, I don't like the word test. I hate the word test. But your first commitment, your first commitment to this Venus Cancer process of like, yes, I will show up for this intensity. I will show up for any of this contrast that comes up. Give it to me. I'm here for it. I'm in it. I'm with it. So show up in and for that, and that'll just kind of set the pace, set the tone for this transit. Anytime we go through Cancer, we know Leo comes next. And so it sets us up for this nice foundation so that we can burst forth, shine, express ourselves, Leo style. I'm going to show you these cards before I get into the other cards. So I have actually the King and the Queen of Water. So the Queen of Water is upright. We are receptive to these energies. We are receptive to the feelings coming through. But then I have King of Water in reverse, the healing card in reverse. And so to me, it's like, well, okay, we're receptive. Like, yeah, okay, I'll let the feelings come through. And then they hit and we're like, oh, I don't really know what to do with it. I'm a little unsteady. The healing will come. This will come with time. The first step is the receptivity. And like I said, you're ready for it. You've done a lot of work with this Cancer. We've done a lot of self-love work this year. It has been insistent over and over and over again. It's part of the process with Jupiter building to this square with Pluto to show up in self-love, to bring that self-love to any of those barriers, any of those shadow energies that are still hanging out. We are ready. You just may not always know what to do with it, but ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help and be receptive to the help that comes. I have the politics card in reverse. This is where we try to outthink the feelings. We're like, I'm going to cleverly dissuade myself from feeling this thing that I need to feel. Don't do that. Don't fight the feelings. Be present with the feelings. These are both mental cards. It's not going to be so much about the mental process. It really is going to be the feeling process, and that's what's going to help you bloom. So, get into the feels. Here we go again. And we're building to this eclipse, so of course we're into the feel energy. So, I actually did have 2 cards pop out. These cards are kind of like, they're not sticky, but they're almost like suede-y. And so they kind of stick together. And so I also have, which is so perfect, the Chalice card, which we'll get into a little bit. But I am going to read the Goddess of Love because I was like, it's Venus's day. She's shifting. Of course we're going to read this. The Goddess of Love. I feel, I respond, I beautify. Unconditional love, intimacy, self-love, relationship, ripeness, and open-hearted. Right. The presence of the Goddess of Love in your reading asks you to open up to more love in your life by expanding your definition of love. No matter where you are on the continuum of blooming the tight bud of conditional love, congratulate yourself because receiving this card indicates that you are moving forward toward not forward toward. It's just moving toward. I keep add forward. I'm a Sagittarius. Always forward, always onward. Moving toward unconditionality in how you approach your life and relationships. This archetype counsels you not to wait for the final flowering. Break out the pink champagne and roses to celebrate the beauty of the journey. Be sensitive to opportunities to transmit the eroding emotions of comparison and competition with self-love by following them to their root in fear of hurt and loss. If you experience anxiety around mirrors, take time to explore the source of the distortion. I'm holding the wrong side of the cord. This distortion that has you feeling imperfect. Consider giving up the media-generated cultural conditioning that finds only certain body types beautiful, focusing only on the outer forms of beauty. Grasp that you are a unique creation. Would you compare the beauty of a rose to that of a peacock feather? What would be the point? It's the same for you. Stop comparing yourself. The goddess of love offers vibrational holding. Oh, I love this. To those parts of you that have believed you are unlovable or not uniquely beautiful. Comprehend that self-love is the foundation of all spiritual evolution. Love yourself. If you have become too practical or mentally focused, ask yourself how your life can be more sensually fulfilling. The goddess of love is requesting your unique response to sensate beauty. Go deeper, be vulnerable, share open-heartedly with loved ones. Receiving this card invites you to create more intimacy in your life by being more present in relationships without expectations, trying, or pleasing. Being in full presence turns up the volume on love and gives intimacy room to thrive. Is there something or someone in your life that is ripe for your expression of unconditional love? Contemplate what or whom that might be and act on it. Start with yourself, that foundation energy. Remember to consciously affirm, I feel, I respond, I beautify. So that's the goddess of love. And then we have transmit, the sacred tool of the chalice, to contain, center, flow, simplify, and empty. And this to me just reminds me of the receptivity card, which is that Libra energy. Let's see. I didn't actually read any of this. I was just like, oh my God, it's so perfect. What are you clinging to in fixity that is asking for the gifting of release and flows? This card is encouraging that flow. Venus in Cancer encourages that flow rather than attachment. No matter how chaotic the appearances of circumstances in your life, if you take the time and energy to still yourself, you will become a transmitter of harmony, even if that means just accepting what is. Enter into your own center of gravity deep within. Discover the point of reference that is based on your inner life. The challenge represents vertical relationship aligned with the divine rather than the horizontal aspects of daily life. Drawing this card is a gentle reminder to take time to focus on your vibrational alignment with spirit to receive what is being transmitted for your growth at this time. So transmit. So those are some powerful cards that are going along with it. So to finish up, you guys are cat lovers. Please send some healing love to Lala. Lala is not feeling good. She's doing better than she was, but I was up all night with her, very, very worried. Mahalo is also sick, but he's come through it raging and fine and good. But Lala still needs some support. So kitty lovers, animal lovers, Mimi lovers, please send my little kitty some good purr vibrational frequencies so she can pull through and feel like herself, because she always gives us such good Lala vibes. Anyways, that is it for today. Book a reading if you want to dive deeper into your personal chart, and I will see you tomorrow. Namaste.